Right, hi everybody. We are week 8 and we are in Monza afternoon again, just for a change. We can see here down on the screen, week 8, we're at Monza and afternoon. So, pre-chosen, so HPD, Autodromo Nacional Monza, Grand Prix afternoon. And what we've been doing through the sessions, through each of the different weeks, use iRacing default, and we're going to have 20% track usage. We'll hit go. I did put out a follow-up setup to last week because the temperatures were just crazy. They were over 40, way over 40 degrees. So I did put another one out. So I'm going to hope that this week is better and we don't have so many blazingly hot days. So I'm going to stick with iRacing default and tune to that and put one out later in the week if it appears that we're not getting a mixture. So we'll start with last week's setup from the video. This week is probably going to sound a little bit different. I'm not doing any post anything video kind of thing, and I'm just trying to reduce the amount of time that all of these things seem to take me. So you can hear some button clicking and those kind of things. We'll see if that reduces my time quite a bit. Hopefully it will do. Okay, so what we're going to do here is so this is the last week's stream setup. I'm going to turn everything down to the media to the minimum, and that's what we've got. We're going to hit apply, and we're going to go out, and we'll just see how we go. There will be some gear work this week. I just did a quick warm-up for around here, and they probably all the gears need to come down. Can't remember which gear set we're on, but we definitely need to come down. First gear is too tall, as for instance. Really out of the curbing on the right before we actually clear first gear. So what we're going to do here is just start to see how the tyres develop in the way that whether they need balancing left to right. I normally use second through here, and then by the time I get to here is normally changing down to go to third, and then we will be going up to fourth and then changing down to go to third again. But as you can see there, we're not quite right. The gears are wrong. But as you can imagine, there would be, because that would be for we've been at a much higher speed circuit. So I don't think we're on the final drive. I think we're on the last but one final drive, which is going to be the right one from memory for this circuit. So we're trying to get this all sorted out and done before the Grand Prix at in Mexico. So try and get this rattled off. Right, so if we look down at the dash, sort of even so far. Starting to favour a higher left temperature. Ooh. By looking at the dash, I was actually not paying attention to where we were going.
Slow down and give up the time gained.
Right. Go away. Yep, so we're starting to, with it being a right-hand circuit, we're starting to pressure up or heat up the left-hand side quicker than the inside. So that trend is going to continue unless we do something about it. So far it looks like we want to click up on the right-hand side on the tyres. So let's just see how much we have to take out of these gears. Pretty sure I'm normally third going into fourth coming through here. Pretty sure I normally am. and I'm normally changing down into third to go through the parabolica, but third is just too tall. Now, I'm trying to think how much diff we've got, so the diff can obviously have an effect on this, so look at that, we're nearly down the end of the straight before we need sixth gear. Yeah, so we need to bring everything down at least a click each, I'd say, I think. Now if it's really crazy hot, this gear set, apart from the top gears, may actually work if it's really hot. And we can see that the tyres definitely need to come up on the right. So we'll just go through parabolic one more time, then we'll jump out of the car, change the tyres and the gears. Right. Let's change that view. There we go. Okay. Up one on the right. And let's see where we are with gears. Pretty sure that's the last, but one good, yep. Alright. Let's bring everybody down one. I think fifth gear might come down, sorry, sixth might come down even more. I think the fifth and sixth I'll bring down 2. Yeah, I think we're going to have to go a bit more severe. What does that one give us? I think it is about 315, I think you need around here, or 308. As a top speed. Looking at JLT, I've got rid of now, that's 288 without a draft. So I'll go with 309. So that means with this one needs to come down quite a bit. Let's go for another 2, looking for about 275. That's what I had in mind. So we'll drop fourth another. One more. So I normally look for about maybe 30-35k between each gear. So I'll leave that at that. We'll bring this up to 2. And I'm going to bring that down a click. So we're just taking away a little bit of resistance when we're off throttle by reducing the decel. We've got an imbalance here by changing the tyre pressures. So we'll do that. Anything else? That's out of alignment. Nope. Right. Okay, so we'll just run with that. Now, I like my gears to work together. I don't like any big holes or gears to be too close together. Seems to be okay so far. Maybe second needs to come down another click, but we'll see. Yeah, I think second needs to come down one. Oh, nearly a trip to the hospital. So you can see there's a footpath on the right, that's where I start to find a braking marker for the whether do I go at the start of the footpath or at the end of the footpath. Right, so you get 10 extra points if you spotted that there was a -40 ballast during the setup view, so we probably need to bring that to be a little bit more negative on this, so I look a bit more neutral to forward. Okay, take a good chunk there. Yeah, first gear feels a lot better. We are on full traction control of 8 for the time of day. Down to second, a bit too quick. Yeah, that's just feels a click too high for second gear. So this is the work that you go through. It's like if you go out and just do some laps initially before you make any changes in gears, and if you got JLT tells you what your top gear, what your top speed is. We're just going a kilometre faster for making that change, but second gear just feels too high. So 283, I think it's at 177 it goes to there. Yep, that's it. Right. So this is the playing gears games.
They say you cut the course. You'll have to slow down and give up the time gained.
Yeah, that one wants to hang around, doesn't it? Yeah, you can hear definite change in tone there. Right. So the tone of the engine sounds a lot better for me. Now I can, unless we come across any other sorts of gear anomalies, we can start to focus about what we feel on the car now. So braking point is normally about halfway down in the green on the left there. Depends on your preference for braking there. Okay. So there's not many places on this circuit to make a difference because there's so little corners. It's all about getting good exits. So I'm going to brake about 160. Oh no, not 160, 140. So through the week you'll start to find your first turn braking points, and you want to just make sure you can hit it every time when you come to that corner. Obviously it is important, or else you go sailing through or damage a car into that first chicane. Yeah, that's much better. So footpath on the right where the orange bit is, on the end of the arm cove. So I'll let the engines drop a little bit too low there. You could hear it really struggle to build back up again. If we just look at what the res were, we were quite about two or three maybe, no, we were 3 maybe 4 into the red. So we just want to make sure that we don't under gear too much for down that main straight. So obviously we'll be having traffic, whether it's your own class or not. There's still going to be other cars to overtake, as in GTEs. So we definitely need the gear for it. So we'll see. We'll have a look again. I think it was just we're getting too close to need another click on the 6th gear, I think there. So right, just looking down on the gear. So the fronts are coming up to E evenly, most of it. Something not quite doing it, I can't think what it is. Right, let's have a look at the 6th gear. Even though we had a rubbish exit out of the parabolica. Yeah. We need another click on the top gear. Don't have enough in it, so I think it takes us up to about 312 or 15, I think. I'm going to take some decel off as well. Alright. 309. Takes us next one up, 315, yeah. And we'll go up one more there. Yeah, we'll go one more there as well. Yeah, we'll just see what that gives us. Right, I'm going to take this out here. Actually, let's get rid of the 3rd spring before we do it. No, actually, we'll get rid of 3rd spring, bring that to neutral. Car just doesn't seem to want a free leaf turn for me. So we'll see if we can't fix that by taking the 3rd spring out and just freeing up the car a little. Right. Don't feel any adverse effects. Everything seems to be okay with 4th, 5th and 6th so far. Bit of chem block action there. Alright, we're up to 290. We've gained 2 kph so far. Right, yep, still on, so we've gone from 288 to 290 on the top end. So, starting to make some time gains. Still not happy with the braking. Yeah, it just feels like the car's not stopping quite enough for me. Alright, so you can see you can take quite a bit of that first part of the chicane there, but you just, again, as I was saying last week, you need to practice and find out where the limit is, because it does save you quite a bit of time if you can get that right. Yeah, car still doesn't feel right. Back end, so still don't feel like I've got control of the car yet. Fourth feels like it's too high now for coming out of the Ascari chicane. Third still feels like it's too tall. So we shall drop third and fourth. So we're on about a 40k difference, 42k difference there. Second to third, we'll see. Give that a go. It doesn't feel like it's wanting to play at the minute. But gears can make a lot of difference to how the car feels and turns. Because obviously they add resistance to the gearbox, which
They say you cut the course. You'll have to slow down and
I
give
don't
up the
think I
time
did.
gained.
I really don't. But yeah, so gears can add obviously a resistance for the car to turn. So until you get your gears right, you could be maybe making an adjustment in different parts of the car that can adversely affect what the car is going to do. So getting the gears right first, then playing with the car is what I normally often do. that felt better straight away. Third felt like it was helping me turn into the Ascari like it would normally do for me. So do we have the right gear here as well? Because often if you have the Ascari right, or the entry to it, then you get this run right. There you go, that's it. That's feel better. You can hear how that sounded that time versus previous times. That's close. That was real close to it off track, or to a cut course. So you see how I hold second when I'm close to the chicane. Just to stop the car from locking up on the back. Okay, so now the car's handling a little bit different. So, come on now. Yeah. So, see if got 290.2 k's down the straight as a top speed. Let's see if we extend it out a little bit with that better exit then. Yeah, as soon as it went down to first then it had too much. So you need to leave it in second as long as you can. Yeah, just went a little bit quicker to 90.7. Half a K quicker. Quite getting the tempo right through there. So the tyres look like they're starting to even out as well. Yeah, starting to feel more lively, more like it, more what I'm used to. I seem to find coming out of Parabolica, coming across and shortening the gap as opposed to taking the line of least resistance around the outside seems to work for me a bit better. Right, so far I'm not suffering anywhere I don't think from spinning up the rears too much. Can we bring to the party in the way of setup? Right, so Think about the first Lesmo is thinking about the first Lesmo. Normally, the back side of the car, it's like the car doesn't want to roll around the corner, so it's almost like it's just under rotating for me. Sometimes you just need a jab of brake just in between the two corners on the first chicane, just to get the nose in on the second half to get it around. So you sometimes, I subconsciously do it these days, but you might see the brake come on during the session. Keep blowing that first left-hander there. I think I've got a little bit of on-throttle understeer a little bit. Alright, so map with the tyres. We'll leave the tyres where they are. Let's have a look at the diff again. Tempted. Anything else? Alright, let's put to click out there as well, so that'll help it steer, help it go around a corner as well. So what I've done is just put some rear ARB on, so it's not, rear ARB can have a detrimental effect against your rear grip, but if you have got, and I think at this point in time we've got a little bit too much rear grip, we can use the ARB to help it be more responsive on the back of the car. So we would normally use ARB on the front of the car to give it more of a steering dynamic. The same can be said for the rear of the car.
They say you cut the course. You'll have to slow down and give up the time gained.
Actually thought I was getting close to that. Feeling more like it should do then, but no, I'm getting pinged for it. I don't know if they've changed. Don't know if they've changed the limits around here. Yep. So hopefully the rear ARB just gives it a little bit, allows the back of the car to follow the front a little bit more. But the trick as ever is not to put too much rear ARB on, because it's one of the things that you can't change during the race. So you need to make sure that as the tyres go off, that you've not put too much ARB on, that then the car becomes almost undrivable. So yeah, the only way to find that out is to get a setup that you're happy with, and if you've got rear ARB, just go and do a full tank run in a warm session and just see how the back of the car handles at the end of it. Oh, come on, that was...
You'll have to slow down and give up the time gained.
That was perfect. I don't think I've been pinged so many times for that in a session before, so clearly we have to give it a little bit more leeway. Still not getting parabolic right now. Nowhere near. Nice. An important corner on the circuit, as you can imagine. So you've got all of this straight. I think you need to be as quick as you can out of each corner. It's the apex of the second one there. Give it a little bit more room then. Now there's a footpath on the inside of that right-hander, which is Lesmo one. And that's where I normally use as a marker to get back on the gas. So you do the brake, you gear down, you're turning in, and then as soon as you feel that it's there on the right-hand side, that's when I start powering up again. But the back of the car still isn't coming around enough. Coming out, so let's have a look. I'm sure in the past I've used 62.5 round here as a rear ride height, just to help it turn a little bit more, because I was yeah, and I'm going to give it a little bit more ride height at the rear. I'm going to go down to the lowest front springs that I would have in a high-speed circuit, 190. Why is that? No. Way. There we go. Right. The only thing that I can really do before I start playing with damper timings is going to be A or B, ballast. So we'll see, we'll have a play with ballast next if this isn't working. That felt better. We've turned on storage sense. Excellent, that's great. Thank you, Microsoft. Taking a drive through the Italian countryside, and then you get a message just to ruin your experience. So that was better, certainly better. So we've taken... Okay, so it's losing speed down the front. And that felt like a better exit out of Parabolica. Right, so I'm pretty sure 190 is good enough so that we don't get compression on the front and it pushes too far. So that felt pretty good. So again, we're losing time down the front, so unless we've damaged the car somewhere. So that's a big loss. You can see that on the... It's a tenth. Alright, we'll just get a new car. So it's one of two things. It's either the rear rad height, and I don't think we're going to lose a tenth through that. There again, could be. Or it's the front spring. But we'll just check in to make sure we didn't get any damage first of all.
They say you cut the course. You'll have to slow down and give up the time gained.
Definitely change that knuckle, because that felt absolutely legit then. Right, so, do we lose speed on the straight? Let's find out. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, I don't think it's the front, I think it's the rear. Take it back down again as far as it allows. There we go. Or not. See, these are the stupid little things that can cost you time. And I mean, not just down the straight, I mean in setup time. Right, are we back on track with top speed? Oh, we'll go to a 92.912. Oh. Thought that was going to come back then, but computer said no. I'm thinking it is the front springs now. Because we was losing time between the Ascari and Parabolica, so... but I need to check it down the main straight. Because in handling sense, it's the right spring, for me in any case. But we might be able to compensate for that in the timing if we have to switch back to the 200 spring. See the inside footpath then? Right, so look at the top, time at the top, losing time now. I don't feel like there's too much wrong with that. Yeah, I know we're on cold tyres. There you go, so you can see it's going up there, going up, starting to come down. Right, we're going to have to go back to the other spring, I think. Can't keep messing around with that. Right. Right, so what we're going to do here is that we're going to have the front. Going to do the same. I'm going to take one out of the rear. So we're just making it that we're loading the spring up just a little bit quicker. We're changing the timing, so we are, by making those changes there, is that what we're saying to the damper is that I want the timing to hurry up a little bit quicker. So that means that we can load up the spring a little bit quicker. Right, so watch out for when we come out of the Ascari and coming out of Parabolica, whether we lose speed down the straight. I'll see if we don't blow that. Right, so do we lose time again? We do. let's just do some laps to see if it's the fuel level, because I don't think we've done that many laps back to back where we've taken too much fuel out of the car. Yeah, that's the back end going in there with the going too close to the grass. Go back to our inside line. It's tempted to get a shot of first gear for there actually. Right, let's bring the brake bias forward 2 clicks. That means 0.5%, which I think brings us to 59 outside of the car. In 38 degrees C, I feel like we could have a little bit more on the first gear. We'll just see how this braking helps so far. I've got a feeling about dropping first, second and third down a click again. This is what happens when you start to get used to things. Right, just made that change. So drivetrain, what is the shortest gear is 128. Right, let's try that. Okay, okay. Can't be too excitable there. I think second needs to, just maybe dizzy. I think second needs to come down one. Ooh. Where does that take us? No, that's too much. Hmm, 28 different. Let's try it. I think that's going to be too much. No, we didn't get pinged for that? Okay. Okay, that feels better. It's a bit boring when you drive around here though. Really got to get into a rhythm with this place. No, it feels like fifth needs to come down a click. Good old that cheddar. Right. Right, okay, well that feels better. We're still, don't forget, you may need to change your gears if we keep getting hotter sessions. So you can see what gears make to handling there. It's not just a case of getting the momentum out of the corners, which they clearly are, but it's about what it does with the handling. See, the 5th 6s feels like it could. Take a hit or be separated out a little bit more. You know, that was a rubbish parabolica, and look how much time we're going to make on that. Right, let's bring down 5th, click. And what I'm going to do to offset all of those shorter gears, just going to bring that back up to that. Just to give us a little bit more stability when we're turning in off throttle. because the shorter the gear, the more it's going to turn. So just putting a little bit more resistance in the gearbox, in the diff, I should say, a little bit more resistance in the diff, just to even out some of this additional rotation that we're getting through the gearbox. Okay, so definitely getting some more green. Nice to see. So I'll start to employ that tactic of just using fourth and then flipping down to third. Now we're going to think about anything else we can change to the car, because it feels okay so far. That's called grass.
They say you cut the course. You'll have to slow down
So
and
just
give
be
up the
careful
time
of your
gained.
margins on the left hand side. Right. Ooh, look at that. Right, how did that happen? That's a big swing. That, of course, for the springs. Right. Get that on the rear. Let's try and bring that. It's traditionally a pain in the backside, the ARB preload on the back of this car. Yeah, the amount of times you have to press it and keep holding for it to then finally move. Gonna move? See, I'm holding down the mouse all the time and it moves once every 5 seconds if you're lucky. Oh, come on. Right, so I'll leave that. Oops, no. Leave that where it is. If you get really bored one night and you want to bring that back down to center, just sit there. Or get somebody else to do it for you. Now, with us having a much shorter first gear, I don't know if you've noticed that when I'm holding the second gear and then I'm turning in, and then I'm changing down for first, you can see it's, with us having the shorter gear, it's just turning that a little bit easy for us. It's the gear is bringing it around for us. So yeah, so all these little details can help to tune the performance a little bit. So a lot of the setup that you're going to create, you just need to give it a run on a full tank, or drain the tank, and just see how it behaves, because with it being I should have stayed in fourth again, idiot. With it being the tight kind of circuit that it is, and there being so few corners, you really need to get quite a few laps in to really find out how the tyres are going to affect you in the second half of the stint, or the final third of the stint. Bit late there. So let's see if we'll just do a few laps here. Let's see if we can get into 37s. Right, I'd like a little bit more rotation, I think, but safe rotation. But right, fourth gear, come on, fourth gear turn, going into the parabolic. Come on, remember 4 gears. Still messed it up. So overdriving isn't a good idea, but just get in the swing around the Lesmos. Right, I'm going to turn 2 clicks of the traction off. What? Might as well take 4 clicks out. Just interested to see what it does at the after the first chicane. So we'll get through the first chicane and I just realised that I don't think I made the adjustment to the brake, which is forward 2 clicks, which I've just done now. I don't know, 91.4 top end now. So as the car gets lighter, we certainly get to a fractionally higher top speed before we brake. .5 on that one. I'm losing concentration now. I'm just leaving braking zones a little bit too late. Right, okay, so I think, again, there's not always a lot to adjust once you get a setup going. I think we're good with the gears. Probably leave that on 6 to be honest. Another thing that you could use to change the turning would be to reduce the preload. That will certainly help, and I think that will probably be the next place for me to go. I don't really want to change the ballast, really, but like we mentioned in previous, if you turn the third spring on, that sort of calms down the turning a little bit, depending on where the gap is. So you could move more ballast there to sort of assist the turn. So that will certainly give you a certain or a different feel. But yeah, that's where I'm going to leave it for this week. In fact, it'd be helpful if we actually give it a title, I think. My mind's starting to wander, so I think it's probably best if we don't continue, because it's just gonna, I'm gonna keep adjusting it, it's gonna get worse. So week 8. And Monza. Right, okay then chaps, and chapettes, so I shall see you next week. I believe it's Imola, and I don't think the weather's changed any, but next week, if it is Imola and it's afternoon, then it's going to be medium downforce. Right, I shall see you there.